In the fall of 2012, Dave Kroupa was starting over. After a long-term relationship ended, the 37-year-old mechanic wasn't searching for another commitment. He wanted companionship, laughter, intimacy, but no promises. That's when he met Liz Golyar online. Liz was energetic, witty, and up for casual fun. It seemed uncomplicated, exactly what Dave needed, but fate had other plans. A few weeks later, while fixing a customer's vehicle, Dave struck up a conversation with Cari Farver, a 37-year-old IT professional. She was sharp and confident, with a dry sense of humor that disarmed him instantly. Their first date ended with an ease that surprised him. Cari felt real, different. For a time, it seemed possible to balance both. Dave was honest about his intentions. Nothing serious, no strings. And both women, at least on the surface, agreed. But after a handful of dates, Cari's attitude changed. One night, she turned to him with unwavering eyes and said, "You should ask me to move in." Dave laughed nervously. "We've only just started seeing each other. It's too soon." Her smile flickered, her silence stretched. Something unspoken passed between them that unsettled him. The next day, the texts began. At first, they sounded like the voice of a hurt lover. "Why don't you want me? Don't push me away." But the tone shifted. The words sharpened. By the end of the week, they carried threats. "You'll regret this. If I can't have you, no one will." Dave's stomach sank every time his phone lit up. The messages multiplied. They came in the morning, in the middle of the night, during his shifts at the shop. Then Liz began receiving them too. Her phone filled with venom. Threats, warnings, promises of pain. Sometimes the messages arrived when she was sitting right beside Dave, both of them staring at their glowing screens in disbelief. And then, without warning, Cari disappeared. She stopped answering her mother's calls. She failed to appear at family gatherings. Most disturbingly, she cut contact with her teenage son, Max. To those who knew her, this was impossible. Cari loved her boy fiercely. She wouldn't abandon him, but she had bipolar disorder, and some wondered if she was unraveling, spiraling into a manic break. Dave tried to believe that explanation. It was easier than the alternatives. But when the texts continued, more vicious than ever, doubt gnawed at him. It wasn't just words. Liz's house went up in flames. Investigators confirmed it was arson. The culprit, they believed, was obvious. Cari Farver, unhinged and angry, lashing out at the woman standing between her and Dave. The harassment escalated. The emails and texts seemed endless. Sometimes dozens, sometimes hundreds in a single day. "I see you. I know what you're doing. You'll both pay." Dave felt hunted. He stopped sleeping properly. He checked his locks twice, 3 times a night. His phone became an instrument of torment, vibrating constantly with her digital presence. Liz leaned on him. She cried when her house burned, cursed Cari's name when new threats arrived. They were bonded by fear, 2 victims trying to weather the storm together. But Cari's family refused to believe the story. They knew she wouldn't leave Max. They begged police to investigate more deeply. For now, though, Cari was treated as a missing adult who had chosen to leave, and an unstable stalker who refused to disappear. Late one night, Dave sat on his couch, phone in hand. The screen glowed with a fresh message. "I'm right outside." His heart pounded. He yanked open the curtain. The street was empty, silent. Cari was everywhere, yet nowhere. And the question that gnawed at him most was the one no one could answer. If Cari was sending those messages, where was she? While Dave and Liz endured the daily onslaught, Cari's family lived with an ache sharper than fear, disbelief. Cari's mother said it again and again. She would never leave Max. Never. Every unanswered call, every birthday missed, every holiday empty. These weren't the actions of a woman who walked away. Something terrible had happened. Her family begged law enforcement to dig deeper, and at last, after more than 2 years of stalking and chaos, detectives began to unravel the digital web. The trail of threats and messages didn't lead back to Cari. It led to Liz, the woman who wept at Dave's side, The woman who claimed she was suffering too. The woman who seemed like a fellow victim. She wasn't the target of the stalking. She was the stalker. Cari had been dead almost from the very beginning. Detectives uncovered an astonishing level of deception. Liz had created fake email accounts. She had purchased burner phones. She sent herself threats, then showed them to Dave with trembling hands. She had even burned down her own home to deepen the illusion. Liz hadn't just killed Cari. She had turned her into a phantom, a ghost used to manipulate Dave into staying close. Every time a message arrived, every time a new attack occurred, Liz ensured Dave would see her as the only person who understood his terror. But the digital footprint told the truth. Every threatening word, every fabricated sighting, every crime traced back to Liz. Her motive was painfully clear. Liz wanted Dave. Cari was a competition, and competition had to be eliminated. But for Liz, killing Cari wasn't enough. She needed Cari's shadow alive to keep Dave tethered to her. By weaponizing fear, she tried to ensure he would never leave. It wasn't love. It was an obsession sharpened into cruelty. In 2017, Liz Golyar was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. For Dave, the revelation was staggering. He had spent years beside the woman who destroyed his life, comforting her, believing they were victims together. Instead, she was the architect of his torment. For Cari's family, the truth came with no relief. Their daughter hadn't abandoned them, hadn't chosen to leave her son. She had been silenced, erased, her identity stolen and twisted into a weapon of psychological torture. Cari's son, Max, grew up with the ache of absence. His mother remembered only in fragments and photographs. Her parents lived with the knowledge that for years, while they searched for hope, Liz used their daughter's voice to torment others. The story of Cari Farver is not about a woman who disappeared. It is about a woman who was erased and a killer who wore her ghost like a mask. For more than 2 years, everyone believed in the phantom of Cari Farver. But phantoms are never real. The true monster was in the room the whole time, where truth hides behind lies, until the mask finally cracks.